All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on a place that feeds millions of us, but that most people have never, ever seen. A modern commercial pig farm. I want you to forget whatever you think you know, because we're about to take a look at the high-tech, highly controlled reality of raising pigs on a massive scale.
So let me ask you, when you hear the words pig farm, what's the first image that pops into your head? Is it, rolling green fields, muddy pigs just happily oinking away? And look, that idyllic scene definitely exists in some places, but the reality of a big commercial farm, well, it can be a whole different world.
Yeah, a modern pig farm is a tightly controlled scientific environment. Seriously, think less old McDonald's farm and more like a biosecure, a laboratory, where every single little detail is managed for one thing: optimizing the health and productivity of the animals.
So our tour starts where every single workday on the farm begins, and it's not with the animals. It's with this invisible shield that's designed to protect them. It's called biosecurity, and it is without a doubt the absolute foundation of the entire operation.
This biological firewall is the farm's #1 defense against diseases that can just sweep through and devastate an entire herd. An outbreak of something like PRRS, that's porcine reproductive and respiratory syndrome, can be absolutely catastrophic. So preventing that stuff from getting in isn't just a priority, it's a total obsession.
So how do they keep that firewall up? With a super strict procedure called the Danish entry system. Here's how it works. You walk into a dirty room and take off all your street clothes. Then you physically step over a bench. That's the line of demarcation. And then you take a full shower, soap, shampoo, everything. Only after you're totally clean can you dress in farm-provided laundered clothes on the clean side. There are 0 exceptions.
And listen, it's not just about people. Every single item you might bring with you is seen as a potential risk. They have a word for it: fomite. That's your phone, your glasses, even your packed lunch. All those things have to pass through a special UV light chamber or a fumigation room to be completely zapped clean of any germs before they can cross that line.
Okay, so once we're safely scrubbed down and on the inside, we're heading to the most hands-on, labor-intensive part of the entire farm, the farrowing department. This is the maternity ward, and in here, attention to detail is absolutely everything. In this section, the whole focus shifts to individual, one-on-one care. The health of each and every mother sow is just paramount. You'll have technicians constantly checking to make sure she's eating all her food and drinking plenty of water, because any little change can be the very first sign of a problem, like a fever or an infection.
And to give you some perspective here, a single lactating sow, that's a mama who is nursing her piglets, will drink somewhere between 5 and 8 gallons of water every single day. That is an incredible amount of water, and almost all of it is going directly into making milk for her babies.
And the level of precision here is just astounding. It's not enough to just give them water. Technicians will actually check the flow rate of the little drinking nipples to make sure a sow can comfortably get about 2 liters per minute. It's all about removing any tiny bit of stress that could affect her health or her milk production.
Now here is one of the biggest challenges in the farrowing room. The mother sow, she's most comfortable when it's cool, right around 65 degrees Fahrenheit. But her newborn piglets? They can't regulate their own body temperature yet, so they need it to be toasty warm, over 90 degrees. So the solution is to create these little microenvironments, using targeted heat lamps and warming mats, just for the piglets.
Then, somewhere between day 3 and 5, the piglets get some essential care. This includes an iron injection, mainly because they're born naturally anemic. They also have their tails docked, which prevents other pigs from biting and causing really serious injuries later on. And the male piglets are castrated to prevent something called boar taint, which is an unpleasant flavor that can develop in the meat if they aren't.
Okay, let's move from the maternity ward to the place where this whole cycle actually begins. This is the breeding department. And just like everything else we've seen, it's a process built on precision and design.
So how do you know exactly when a sow is ready to be bred? Well, it all starts by bringing a mature male pig, they call him a teaser boar, down the alleyway. Just his presence triggers a hormonal response in the sows. A technician then comes by and applies firm pressure to the sow's back. If she locks up her legs and stands perfectly still, that's called standing heat, and it means she's ready.
Now, the vast majority of breeding on modern farms is done through artificial insemination, or AI. It's a very sterile, very controlled procedure. The technician cleans the sow, inserts a sterile catheter, hooks up the dose of semen, and then just lets the sow's own uterine contractions naturally draw the semen in. About a month later, Technology steps in again. A technician uses a portable ultrasound machine. It looks just like one you'd see in a human hospital to scan each sow and confirm if she's pregnant. Any sows that aren't pregnant, which are called open sows, are identified right away so they can be prepared for the next breeding cycle.
Right, so after the piglets are weaned from their mother, they move on to the nursery and then the finishing barns. And in here, the focus shifts a little bit. It's less about that super intensive individual care and more about managing the health of the entire group as a whole.
And this is where being proactive is absolutely key. Technicians don't just walk by the pens and glance in, they step inside every single one every single day. This simple act makes all the pigs get up and move around, and that makes it immediately obvious if any animal is sluggish or lame or just not doing well. Those pigs get pulled out and moved to a special hospital pen for some extra attention.
You can imagine, in these big barns, air quality is just critical for preventing respiratory diseases. It's a constant balancing act, right? You need fresh air, but you also have to keep the temperature just right. So staff are always monitoring things like ammonia and CO2 levels, checking the airspeed from the inlets, and making sure the heaters and fans are staged correctly so they aren't literally fighting each other and wasting a ton of energy.
For our final stop, we're actually moving away from the animals for a minute because I want to show you the true nerve center of the entire operation, the data. Modern farming is absolutely driven by information.
And this is how it works. Every single sow has a record, whether it's an old-school card on her pen or a digital file. This card tracks her entire productive life, the date she was bred, the specific sire that was used, how many piglets were born alive, how many she successfully weaned. Every single key performance indicator is written down.
And believe me, this data isn't just for dusty old records. It drives every major decision on the farm. It's used to calculate feed budgets, to track the genetic performance of different boars, to monitor mortality rates, and to spot health trends across the whole herd before they become huge problems. It really is a high-tech management system.
So we end up right back where we started, but with a totally new picture of a modern farm, right? It's this complex blend of data, biology, and incredible precision. It's a world away from that simple pasture. It's a challenging, scientific system that's designed for unbelievable efficiency and health on a massive scale. And it really makes you wonder, as technology keeps getting better and better, how much further can this evolution go?